guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I decided I was going to show you guys how exactly I take notes for class, and I just use OneNote and I think it's pretty straightforward, so let's just get right into it. So these are all of the notebooks that I have in my OneNote. I have some for my anthropology and my art history class, and these are just the tabs I have in each one of them. I have a reading one, which typically has all of the PDFs for the readings that I do each day, and then I also have one for in-class notes, written assignments, and the class presentations. So when I open a new tab in my in-class notes, the first thing I do is write down the title of the lecture. I also will write down the unit number and the lecture number just to stay a little bit more organized. OneNote also does the date and time that you've done this lecture, so it's really helpful for that. And then I just write in my notes. If I have a main topic, I will just use the heading 1 feature, and it's the same feature that is in Microsoft Word. I will also extend the text box to my liking. And then I'll just start writing. I use bullet points, so I will use the arrows just because I like the aesthetic a little bit better. And I think we all know how using bullet points works. This is really when my personal organization gets to come out and play. And so the first thing I do is any words that are important that I already know, maybe some names, maybe even some dates, I will add that in red. And this is the same exact feature that is in Microsoft Word. So all you have to do is highlight it and change the font to red. If I have any definitions that I need to remember, I will highlight them in green. And Microsoft OneNote has its really cool feature where if you go up into this upper tab, you can click on definition and it'll highlight for you. The next thing I'll do is if anything is really important that I know might be on a quiz or I should use in a paper, maybe even a quote, I will just write it out and then again use this top bar feature and click on important, and it'll have a little star next to it so I know that it stands out from the rest of my notes. And this is the same thing for questions. Anytime I have questions on the lecture or if I have any questions on the readings, I will do the exact same thing, type out the question, and then I will just click on the question tab. Last but not least, a lot of professors will mention books or authors that might be important. So if they do that, I will just find the book tab and put a little book icon on it. Most of my notes will have subtopics, and when I do that, I'll just not put it in a bullet point, but instead I will go to heading 2 and just let it stand out a little bit more, but not quite as important as the main topic. And I do use a numbering system, so I use this really for lists or things that go into an order as opposed to doing it with a bullet point. It might just blend in with my other notes and I don't want that. So this is just an easy way for me to see different steps or orders. So I do have other topics as well, but these I try to stay away from. I don't really like having too many main topics, subtopics, subtopics, just because it makes it a little bit too cluttered for me, but I will do it if I need to. Now let's say a professor gives me a figure to look at. I'll just type out figure and then followed by the unit number, lecture number, and then the figure number, just to stay really organized. And then once I actually know what figure I need, I'll type it into Google and then I'll just post it straight into my notes. And then to make sure that I stay organized throughout my notes, I'll just copy down that title or that name that I put in my actual notes themselves. So that's just figure, unit number, lecture number, and then figure number. So a lot of times when I am getting bored in lecture, I come up with some ideas and I like to keep those separate from the rest of my notes. So if I do have any ideas on a paper, maybe some questions I think would be helpful for me to study on for quizzes or things like that, I'll just type them in a different box, and then I'll insert a little box, and I do my brainstorming in blue. And let's just say that we did some group work in class. I also want to keep that separate from my other notes. So I'll just put another box around the notes that were in class, group discussion, and I will change that box to green so it stands out from my brainstorming as well as just my regular notes. And that's really all I do for my notes. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, at least for me, and it keeps me organized throughout the year. So as you can see, I just have some headings. This was some in-class group discussion, so I just boxed it in green. And then I have some definitions that I need to keep in mind, as well as some important notes that I will be using on a paper in the future. And last but not least, I'm going to show you what I actually do. So this is what my notes look like while I'm taking them actually in class. And then after class, I just spend about 15-20 minutes going through and highlighting what I need to highlight, making bold what I need to make bold, putting in my actual bullet points, and just making them look pretty. But that is all I have for you guys today. I hope it was helpful for you to just, see somebody else's notes. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.